What up, what up, what up? It's your boy LQ, Real Deal Fantasy HQ, NFT Drafters. We're here for week 2. Now I have the fades for you guys you need to avoid at all costs. Please check out the website, link in the bio, free to enter tournaments. It is weekly cash prizes. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity for the future of fantasy sports. So let's get right into it. So first up for the fades, guys you want to avoid this week is the Jaguars' #1 running back, James Robinson. I say in quotations, #1 running back, being that he's splitting carries with Carlos Hyde. I think Urban Meyer has a thing against James Robinson from the beginning, being that they used their first pick in the first round for Travis Etienne when they had an undrafted free agent, James Robinson, putting up breaking record numbers last season. Then they went out inside Carlos Hyde. It does not make sense of why James Robinson's not being used at the workhorse. He can easily take over that backfield if he was given the opportunity and touches. So being that they have a terrible matchup this week and being that Urban Meyer's still on the fence about giving James Robinson a full workload, it doesn't make sense to make him a play this week. He is definitely a fade, easy fade, until we figure out that running back room looks like. If we get into week 3, week 4, week 5, and we're starting to see gradually James Robinson starts to become the lead back, then okay, that's fine, because James Robinson does have the PPR upside. He saw a lot of targets. He saw more targets than Carlos Hyde in the backfield, but it was the fact that Carlos Hyde had more rushing attempts than James Robinson. So he's a clear fade this week. You should not be playing him in your lineups. So next up, I got Mike Davis, Falcons running back #1. I definitely think this is an easy fade. We saw his performance last week, averaged 3.2 yards per carry. That is a terrible yards per carry, people. He is not a play this week going against the Bucs defense, who have a stud defense. That front is going to stop the run at all costs. Matthew Ryan did not look good last week. Matt Ryan looked terrible in his decision-making mechanics. It looked like he was a rookie quarterback out there going against the Eagles. So therefore, that hurts the running game. Now, Mike Davis, he had all the opportunities in the world to score, but we already know as a history of that offense, they struggle in the red zone. That is not something I want as a play. He's not a value pick this week. It's definitely somebody you need to avoid based on matchup, production, and overall the offense just not looking great together. They don't look in sync. It looks like they're missing Julio Jones, so Mike Davis is an easy fade this week, people. He may be for the rest of the season. We haven't seen anything that warrant us to actually say Mike Davis is a good play. I definitely think, them signing Wayne Gallman, it's an obvious notion that they don't believe in Mike Davis to be the guy. So eventually we might see a 50-50 split, or we might see Wayne take over as RB1 eventually sometime this season. So I'm not playing Mike Davis this week against the Bucs. It's an easy fade, and I'm avoiding at all costs. Now, next up, my last fade of the week. This is not a smash play. This isn't anything that we need to be entertaining, because based on what we saw last week with the Jets running back room, the running back committee is real. They're rotating 3 running backs. Their matchup this week is division game against the Patriots. Tevin Coleman is not a value play. He looks cheap there to be a guy you play this week into your lineups, but I do not believe Tevin Coleman to be a guy that can bring home the gold for you. Them rotating 3 running backs, it just becomes a confusing matchup to where you don't know who to play certain weeks. They got Carter involved. They got Ty Johnson involved. All going into this offseason, we already knew that the Jets want to run the ball, but we didn't think it would be between 3 running backs. So we need to basically fade the entire Jets running back committee, because you're going to have that headache of not knowing who to play. So again, I understand that they all have their roles. I definitely look at Ty Johnson to have the PPR upside, Carter getting involved as the pure runner, but Tevin Coleman, just a mystery mark there, even though he's leading them in carries. So it looks a little weird on paper when you see 3 running backs evenly split each rushing attempt, and they put run first into their offense, and it doesn't make sense to have Tevin Coleman as a play this week. So that's an easy fade right there for you against the Patriots. So that wraps up another great episode of NFT Drafters. This is a free tournament, cash weekly. Check out the bio, check out the link, and make sure you hit that website, open up those new packs, those Shrek packs, and play them into your lineups when you get the value picks. But none of these guys I just mentioned are value picks in this episode. So I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ, providing the heat for NFT Drafters. Peace.